Yo, what is up, y'all? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This right here is my lovely B6 S4, and it is a lovely car. They're just a little, it's a very much a love-hate relationship for cars like this. When German engineers stuff a V8 into a car like this, you love it or you hate it. But this one's interesting, and I figured I'd make a little quick video about it just because the audacity of some people. If you're a total dumbass, don't work on cars. And if you don't know if you're a total dumbass, I don't know, ask some friends, ask family, who knows, and tell them to be honest. Hopefully they'll tell you. But I didn't film the actual process because for 6 hours I was so, let's call it, irritated that I was like, fuck this. We're just not gonna do that. I'm gonna get these bolts out of here first, then I'm gonna make a little video about them. But this thing right here has the legendary 4.2 V8, and these engines, again, very much a love-hate relationship with people. Personally, I love them. They run like anything else, especially if you have a manual trans with one of these cars. It's just so much damn fun. You put it on some nice coilovers or some good H&R Bilstein suspension, some wheel spacers, nice fat Toyo tires, and these things rip. But they do have their little issues. When stuff goes wrong, there's just no damn room to fix. I'm tall, so I'm probably gonna be out of the frame here, but there's just no damn room to fix anything, and that's part of the problem. So, got the Milwaukee on. Obviously, it's daytime, so it doesn't really do too much, but still, first of all, yes, I painted this engine. This is actually a Ferrari color, Grigio Titanio. Beautiful color, and I love the contrast on the red. Again, I'll post a whole video about this car because it's just so pimp, but for the time being, here's the motor. As you can see, 0 belts. There's nothing on this car. There's one belt with an alternator down there, which is also water cooled. That's a whole thing. But pretty much everything is a shaft drive down there underneath the headers, AC compressor, power steering pump, all that crap. As you can see, there's really not much room for anything in here. So, anytime you're gonna service stuff, it's a bitch. And the big job on these 4.2 BHF motors is timing service in the back. You're gonna have a whole complicated timing system. I'll insert like a picture of what it looks like and stuff. This car's been done 20,000-30,000 miles ago, so it's pimp, but there's one little thing that was overlooked actually, and that's basically what I'm going to show y'all. So these things right here are what I've actually been dealing with yesterday for the past 6 hours. These damn bolts, some idiot put these sort of locking, they're not actually locking, but they're basically thread cutting bolts that have these kind of tips inside the soft aluminum cylinder head, okay? Because I'm not the one who did the timing on this car. The previous owner had it done by the shop, and I can't blame the previous owner, he had good intentions. He wanted to do the timing at the right interval and stuff, around 110, 120K, maybe even less, around the 100K mark. But the shop he took it to was total dumbass. So first of all, there's seals around these little thingies, which, as you can see, are probably original and therefore have not been rubber for probably the past couple of years. Obviously, we got brand new ones right here, but these bolts were such a bitch to get out that every single one of them stripped, and every single one I had to resort to an extreme removal procedure. Okay, so here we're standing in front of the lovely V8, and you got to remove a few things, especially on the driver's side where you got coolant tank and stuff. But basically, if you kind of start peeking back on down there underneath my little paper towel, I kind of covered it just so it's not completely exposed. That dumb thing right there, that is your camshaft actuator solenoid. That's the little solenoid that actuates your hydraulic valve lift. So, and it's around that thing that those little covers slide and where those seals are. And this thing has been leaking oil. It started progressively, a little bit, where it was just a little bit of an oil leak. And then it got worse and worse to the point where it got fucking terrible. This stuff right here, very good stuff, pretty universal. You can put it in a lot of oils and a whole bunch of crap. So put some of this stuff in, took a UV flashlight to the motor and everything. And up top here, everything was good. But when I lifted the car and I went underneath it, which I could tell because it was already leaking oil, but when I went underneath it, the entire bottom end of the car, basically subframe, everything going on back, because as you're driving it pushes back, was just coated and glowing yellow. Again, I'll try to post a video of that here, but it's got to be dark first because we're not going to see anything now. And yeah, that was just terrible. And that's when I was like, all right, this is fucked. I got to do something about it now. It's no longer funny. And come to diagnose a few things. Valve cover gaskets, as you can see, are painted and are brand new. So I was like, hopefully it's not those. And sadly, this one is leaking. So Gonna redo that one here in a second, but first, that's easy compared to that shit back there. But the real issue when I ran that UV flashlight was basically back there, both of those seals around those cam solenoids. And again, as you can tell, they're both back there, believe me. It's just, they're terrible to get to. Ironically, this one's easier though, once you remove everything here on the driver's side. So yeah, that's the fun that I've been dealing with for 6 fucking hours, okay? Let me show y'all how I did it. So, as y'all can tell, obviously, by looking at the car, the biggest constraint really is space. In fact, dare I say the only constraint is space. Now, it's a big one, though, so you are definitely going to have some specialty crap in order to make it happen. So much so that I found it a little hard to get some of the specialty crap in order to do this stuff, so I resorted to making it. Here is my lovely Insider Milwaukee. This thing deserves a video of its own. It is pimp, and how many times it saved me is insane, but it's besides the point. Definitely get the entire socket bit kit with it. I mean, it actually comes with it anyway, but you want to also get the extra 1/2-inch adapter, but that's a different story. The point is, in the kit, you get a 1/4-inch hex driver bit. So what I did is I took a little locking, if you will. As you can see, it has this little ball end down here, so it's kind of a locking bit. It cut off a 6mm drill bit, welded that bitch onto here, and then this goes inside here very firmly, will not fall out under pretty much any circumstance. And then, you know, you push this bad boy in here, and there you go. Now you have a pretty low profile 90-degree drill, and you basically drill these bastards out. As you can see, all these screws got drilled out to a pretty good amount. I went ahead and actually paint marked. You might see some residue there, some orange residue. I paint marked the depth of the bolt, at least what I would think it is based on a similar bolt calculation. And once I got to that paint markers and I was able to actually get it deep enough, that is when I went ahead and whipped out basically my extractor kits like this. Now this obviously is a pretty large bit down here. However, this is honestly, I swear to God, if it wasn't for this Milwaukee, I probably would not be able to do this. The only reason that thing worked is that the Milwaukee little fuel rail thingy here, excuse me, socket rail for these things. You can see I've got a little Milwaukee drawer here and then another one, but that's the most common stuff that I use. This bad bitch right here. So this right here is a 13mm insider, like exclusive bit for these insider ratchets. And the reason these things are pimp is it is ridiculously low profile. So you pop it in there, and as you can see, it's super low profile. Not to mention, it's a pass-through design, so should you ever need the pass-through design, that's pimp too. But basically, now obviously this is not locking in here, so take a bunch of grease, coat it in grease so that the grease creates suction, and then you're able to get up on in there and extract that stupid thing. And I had to do that for all of them. Obviously, the first one took like 4 hours because I tried everything else and I tried a whole bunch of other stuff, and then I spent like a good 30 minutes welding this crap up. So overall, it took me, what, like 4 hours, maybe 5 even, for the first bolt. Then once I got that done, it was pretty much a streamlined process. The other 3 took like maybe an hour and a half or something like that. So yeah, the big thing was discovering a way to get them out in the first place. And as you can see, I already went ahead and get some regular countersunk Allens. Now, I'm not the biggest fan. You know, in general, these little Allen thingies are semi-easy to strip, so I'm not the biggest fan of that. I would prefer a bolt like this. If I could, I would actually get a bolt like this. This is what KTM dirt bikes use on everything. You can see it's a Torx and a hex. This is great. And I have boxes of these kind of bolts because I try to use them in every application possible, because you genuinely have 2 options to take it off should one option strip, and sometimes they do. But they don't really have countersunk versions of these. I don't even know how that would work for it to be countersunk. So that's kind of the issue. Had to go with those things there, but you know, whatever. Definitely though, we're gonna put a little bit of thread locker on these. Do not tighten them up super hard. And I'm also gonna put a tiny bit of anti-seize around the inside here of this countersink here and that hole, because I did notice I've already cleaned it out a little bit. As you can see, I took the bottom of this to a belt sander, kind of flattened it out, and also dropped it a tiny bit in height, because when I put the new seal in, I noticed that it was sitting pretty much flush, and I'd prefer the seal to stick out a little bit so that this really gets some clamping force. That, and we're going to silicone the shit out of it. Actually, not even silicone. We're going to use the proper anaerobic sealant stuff that, you know, a lot of car manufacturers recommend these days, and dare I say require, especially for like timing covers and stuff. So we're going to put some of that crap on there. So in theory, this will never leak again, or at least not for a very, very long time. So before we go and start installing stuff, I got my little trusty file and some rather higher grit sandpaper. Figured I would actually clean this whole location here. Mounting surface on that stupid, I don't think you'll be able to tell this because I can barely see this, but yeah, that stupid solenoid surface. I did at one point attempt to slightly chisel things, so definitely gonna have to clean that corner up a little bit. So I don't know how the hell I'm gonna do that, but we're gonna do that one way or another. Okay, here we go. That's the other one. I can feel it, but I cannot see it. We're gonna call that good enough at least. Now a little bit of brake clean. Gonna clean that solenoid off. And then we're gonna go do the other side. I'm gonna do that off camera so I'm not wasting y'all's time. So in terms of those solenoids, some of you will ask, is this thing on? Yeah, it's still on. I'm gonna turn that off. But some of you will ask, why are they back there? How do you do the timing? Blah, blah, blah. If it's in the back, you pull the motor out. That's the whole thing. So don't get me wrong. This job is like easy as shit when you just have it in front of you and the motor's right here, like pulled out of the car and whatnot, right? That's a whole different story. The problem is when you don't do those seals and you do the timing. And the timing was done because like I said, when I initially did the valve cover gaskets, I had, oh shit, the wind. No, don't want to steal my sandpaper. But the wind is, fuck. The car has had timing done. I verified when I was doing valve cover gaskets. All the timing components are new because you can see it in the back there. So that's good. It's just they didn't replace those damn cam seals. Okie dokie, so we got one side done. Figured I'd show you all how I do it on the other side, because ironically, once you get this whole reservoir out of the way, the driver's side's actually easier than passenger. But passenger side, let me grab the little flashlight, is done. Hopefully this will be somewhat visible. Ta-da, there you go, y'all see that? All that sealant and everything down there, boom, perfect. Here's the best way that I figured to do it in order to also prevent future issues from happening again. Here, as you can see, we've got the little seal thing. Here's my freshly, we'll call it machined and cleaned, little holding piece, a little bit of the sealant. Normally, you know, I'd wear gloves and stuff, but I do want to have the utmost feel possible for this, so no gloves this time. A little bit of sealant in here. Then we take this flange seal thing, rotate it up in there, get that sealant all over. Then you don't want to do a lot, again, because you are going to have to slide this over the wire and gets a little tight, so you don't want half the wire to end up coating. Just like this. All right, now once that looks moderately well coated, then I'm gonna go ahead and get a little bit of sealant, put it on the actual camshaft solenoid first of all. Don't know if you're gonna be able to see that because this is just terrible in terms of space, as if we didn't know that already, but yes. I'm gonna put a little bit of sealant on the solenoid itself, as you can tell right there, and then also the actual sealing surface. So this will basically double, in theory, the sealing power, but you know, since we didn't go heavy, it's realistically not gonna double it, it's just gonna give it, quote unquote, the normal sealing power. And then start the sliding process. So you gotta grab the stupid wire. Don't forget that it goes on this way. Fuck. Very carefully slide it over. And oh no, yeah, I mean, there's gonna be again some parasitic loss, we'll just call it that. All right, got the little bolts here. So here's the thing, entry here is fucked. So getting anything done by hand and tightened is gonna be hard, just because how the hell are you gonna put your hand in there to tighten it? So ironically, we're gonna have to use this little Milwaukee here. But first things first, dip the tip of your, oh shit, bit in grease. You don't need that much. It'll kind of help coat the, help hold the bit. But most importantly, put a little bit of grease on this countersunk head so that it actually doesn't get stuck and bonded with the aluminum, because this is steel going on aluminum, so it can bond. And then a little bit of blue Loctite, please. Oh shit, oh god, what is this? Did it break? That's, oh no, senor. All right, well, that was interesting, but yeah, a little bit of a little bit of blue Loctite here on the bit. First of all, only use blue, okay? I pretty much never use red in anything. That shit's like super glue. Don't use red, okay? Just, there's a few things you do, yes, yes, yes. But for the most part, I want y'all to remember that red is dead. And then the top bolt is gettable, or threadable, should I say, with just the hand. Does it still suck to do? Yeah, but you can get it in there and get it threaded. At least I think. Oh, there we go. Okay, yes, yes, yes. There we go. So you want to start the bolts, kind of tighten them up evenly, you know, left and right, left and right. Just take your time, because I don't think anybody wants to do this job again. And the bottom one is realistically where it gets fucked. So we put the bit here on the Milwaukee, and the way that space is designed in this car, there's really no easy way to get to anything. Therefore, since that side was less space down here, more space in the corner, on this side it's the opposite. You got more space in the corner but less space up here because of the wiring harness. So I have found that you kind of have to go through the damn wiring harness in order to get that maximum possible angle. And then you're gonna need your trusty mirror, and this is critical. If you cross thread this, you can consider yourself fucked, and this whole situation fucked. So I would say do this shit 10 times if you have to. Just ensure that you don't cross thread. Our mission is to basically line up this bolt up inside there as straight as possible, and you're definitely want to go over the coil pack line or coil pack wiring harness here. Kind of get that thing squeezed in there and slowly thread it. Okay, plan B. That did not want to work. It's a whole lot easier to get the thing out when you don't have to be perfectly straight going into the threads. And the Milwaukee's just too damn big, especially with that wiring harness and everything, in order to get it perfectly straight in there. And in fact, if you see, the bulkhead here does protrude out a little bit on this side more than that one. So that may actually be the contributing factor, because on that side it was already so damn perfectly vertical. Here, if it leans in more, your angle's not straight, you're screwed. So we broke out the, I know, call me a traitor, but the trusty DeWalt 1/4-inch extension. Ironically, DeWalt on a little Milwaukee thingy here. So this is the thing that that we're gonna use. And again, same principle applies here. As you can see, grease in the bit inside there. Obviously even lower profile, but the main thing is this bend right here. That's gonna be the big helper in this case. Again, similar principle in terms of basically everything. We're just at this point gonna use this flex bit thing. Hopefully this job's not gonna have to almost ever be done again, but especially, dare I say, not by me. That's for damn sure. Just kidding, I love this damn car. Okay, well, we run into the stupid coil wiring issue again. It's threading. Perfect. I hate having, oh shit, perfect. Oh man, I didn't even have to use that flashlight realistically. That's it. Nice little tap, a little snug here and there, and we are done. Now, to get the top one real quick, which basically means, see this little guy. This is what I wanted to show y'all. This is what you need for install as well. Should you want to do it by hand, if you can magically somehow can get your hands in there, or steal a little child's hands and put them in there. But this little guy is basically just a 1/4-inch bit driver. Is this? Oh, that's left. So this little thingy is what you need. And then at least for the top bolt, we definitely can get that one in by hand. There's really not much room, so this is gonna be like an 1/8 turn at a time, if anything. But hey, fuck it, you know, better than nothing. Woohoo! Mission success. Dare I say, get the hell out of there. Honestly, if I had to summarize this car in one motto, I'd be like, everything here is very fun to get to, basically. But it's also fun as shit to drive. So it's like, it's a love-hate relationship, to be honest with y'all. But alrighty. There she is. Done with that stupid thing. Woohoo. Alrighty, Roo, ladies and gentlemen, that is that. So, the S4 is finally done. Finally not leaking all over the damn place, which is great. Now, some time has passed. It's been like, what, a week? Actually, 2 weeks. Like I think I said earlier in the video, I noticed this valve cover gasket leaking, so I went ahead and did all of them, as in both of them again. That, and I did make some other modifications to the catch can, a few other small little details here and there. That, and we had a bunch of rain and hailstorms up here in Texas because it is that season. So the car was here in my warehouse for like a week straight because I was like, I ain't touching this thing or anything else for the matter. Everything was in storage or in my garage or whatever. But yeah, oh, sorry, I got something in my eye. But that's that. She is done. No more oil leaks, no nothing. Love the new setup. You know, the devil hides in the details. Let me show you what I'm talking about, specifically about these details. So you can probably see right here. Look at that sexy ass engine bay, baby. Man, I freaking love these 4.2s for real, man. So little devil hides in the details. Mainly the details are going to be here. For those of you that know Audis, they are notorious for having green or blue caps on a lot of the reservoirs, and as you can see, I blacked out everything. So a lot cleaner because I hated having, the motor is supposed to be the focus clearly here, and I hated having like blue caps and a green power steering reservoir cap, all that stupid shit. I was like, this is dumb. So got some black ones in stock, and I got a few of them actually, so I'm gonna start doing this to all the Audis because they used to be available some years ago and then they stopped being available, but now I see they're back up for sale in some certain places, whatever. So but yeah, man, look at that motor. And then I love that blue contrast on the red car especially. I mean, it is just pimp, you know. So she's done, no more oil leaks. Everything looks pimping. Everything looks Gucci. Gave a little wash to the engine too. And then, you know, we got that nice cold air intake, which to be honest, I might actually modify and put in a bigger filter. I mean, the car's not like anything crazy. It's just a stage 1 tune with the exhaust. But now that I have the full exhaust, if I do injectors, I could easily do like a stage 2 plus. But I feel like I would probably need a bigger filter for that. So we'll see. It's just, there's no damn room in here, as you can see. So, you know, you are kind of limited as to what filter you can run lengthwise. And a lot of the big filters are longer than they are wider. So that's kind of going to be my issue here if we do decide to do anything of that sorts. But there she is, looking as good as ever. Again, man, I just love these damn cars and these motors, man. They are just the pimpest thing. Now, what I think we should really do to end this episode is give you a little rev show, if you will. You know, what better way to show off a V8 than to show the sound of a almost straight pipe V8? And I think the only way to properly end this episode is with a very nice and solid rev. Now, keep in mind, the car's been sitting here. It's cold, so I did actually have it run like literally for a few minutes as I was setting stuff up. So it's not like dead cold, but it's not operating temp, so we're not gonna go crazy here, no red lights. But what better way to end an S4 with a V8 episode than with some revs of the V8? So I present to you the S4 Symphony. Y'all hear that noise? That is one of the most orgasmic things you will ever hear. That is a large reason why this car is so goddamn fun. For real. They just don't make them like they used to, man. They really don't. And with that, we're gonna end this. Now I want to go take her out for a spin. The weather is nice, no more storms, at least for the next 2-3 days, supposedly. So then I'm gonna take her for a spin, damn it, because I miss that sound, man. You open the sunroof and you hear that sound every time you accelerate, and it is quite literally addicting, except it's a lot more expensive than drugs, damn it. Should have been a fucking drug addict. But again, thank y'all for tuning in. If you like the car, if you like the content, if you'd like to see more, subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know what else you'd like to see about this car. Maybe I should do a full rundown. Anyway, thank y'all, AngryZacMan, over and out. Deuces.